Hello everybody joining us here. My name is Florian from the Board of Directors of ISMETA, the International Somatic Movement Education and Therapy Association. I'm here with my colleague from the board, Gita, and we are having a special guest here, Stephanie Tack, who wants to present something that she is going to teach and is going to be like sharing with you in the Professional Development Center. Hello, you two.
Hi.
Hi, Florian. Hi, Stephanie. Hi,
Hi, guys.
everyone.
Okay, the heart remembers. What can we imagine is happening in your class, Stephanie?
Yeah, so the Heart Remembers is a class for coming back to yourself and to refinding your energy and your light center from your heart. So it's a class for people who feel like maybe they have a little bit of compassion burnout. Maybe they give a lot in their daily life. Maybe there's someone who works in a profession where they're a therapist, or maybe they're a primary caretaker for somebody in their family, or maybe they have young children, or are a massage therapist, somebody who's giving actively their energy to other people and creating space and holding space for other people. And maybe in all of this, they feel a bit depleted. And so it's to come back into your heart and sort of fill your own cup and rebuild your energy and restore yourself.
Okay, you're saying this like very professionally and very educatedly. It's like I can share, and I know all of us here in the space are working in therapy settings, either if it's body work, if it is movement, if it is like also with consciousness, But I can tell you, I sometimes come home from work and I had a great day, successful, but I really want to cry. Like, do you know that feeling?
Yeah, it's also, we're absorbing a lot, taking in a lot. And I think it happens when you're empathic. It's naturally, even if you're not in these kind of therapeutic professions, but maybe you're just a really empathic person, is we tend to absorb a lot and take on other people's anxieties, other people's dysregulation. And it needs an outlet, it needs an outlet. Either you're crying or you need to rest or sleep a lot or eat a lot. Sometimes I come home and I just, eat a ton of food and then I lay in my bed for like an hour with the light off because I feel like I just need to like restore my energy. And that feels like it's good for me. Or like occasionally I just take like a really long shower because it has the feeling of like I just need to be washed with water, to rebalance myself.
Yeah, and I know, Stephanie, that you have a dance background and dance therapy background, and I know that dancers are their emotional intelligence is really profound. So, how is this? How are the emotions coming into your classes? Or what can you kind of share from the background that you come in?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to separate now the dance background, which kind of superseded and came before everything else with like the somatic background and the somatic therapy stuff. But for me, a lot of my regulation has come through movement. And I think since I was really young, I found that when things felt like they were chaotic for me, or when I felt like things were out of control, or I had to pay attention to other people and make sure that everybody else is okay, what felt really like calming and soothing for me were movement things. Like I love finding, for instance, like rhythm, like just moving with the body in a set, repeatable rhythm, something that you can do over and over again, or even making like some sort of rhythmic sound or something. It automatically just like calms me down. So I like this idea of tuning into the rhythms of the body. I also think that, one of the somatic tools that therapists talk about is this kind of idea of connecting with your environment to kind of get outside of yourself to ground yourself and name, for instance, like five things around you, like desk, fax machine. Not that anybody has a fax machine anymore. I'm making stuff up. Book. And whatever, you're listing things in your external environment, but in the dance world that I come from, the somatic dance scene, like in New York City, is that, like you can also rely on your senses to feed you information about your environment, whether it feels safe for you, whether you want to interact and express around some sound you heard or some light that you feel coming in. And ultimately, for me, dance is an expression. So I feel like a lot of emotions get like bottled up. And when you start to express yourself and the organs are expressive, they hold your emotions. So when you start to move from the heart is given a voice and it can express itself and it can move and it can even tell you things that you didn't even know. So that's for me how dance like comes into my classes.
And may I just jump in because you're also doing something very special in the Professional Development Center. You make it an ongoing class for 4 sessions. Uh, Given what you already shared with us, why did you decide not to make a 1 day workshop? Why are we, or how is the entire group going into a longer process with digestive time and then new input, new connection, and then going into the world again?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I was just thinking it needs to be a process. I have so many clients and, they come in and they have the attitude of like, fix me. And they want the quick, you do the hands work on them and they walk away feeling better. But, I think anybody that's done any like spiritual work knows that it takes time. And I think when we're re-regulating ourselves and refilling the cup of the heart and really like dealing with this kind of like compassion burnout, you kind of need time to like, enter into the consciousness of what's going on and what's present for you, and then just be with it and start to regulate while you're in there. And then once you're in there and things are starting to regulate, then it needs to have expression to see where it's been, where it wants to go. And then you can start to look into your intuition and your capacity for like how you sense your way and move your way into the future. So it's a whole process that goes from this point of being with what is present for you right now, and then moving into deepening into that and expressing what wants to come out, and then feeling and sensing into the future to see, well, what does it mean for me to move forward from this place? And I also had created this workshop with the idea of people who've had heartbreak, because I lost my dad a couple years ago, and I still see my mother working through that sense of like real deep loss. And I think it's just, a grieving process that anybody that has lost somebody or anybody who broke up with somebody, it breaks your heart because you can't see that person or you don't want to see that person or whatever. And so it's also taking people through a process of, healing, heart healing.
That sounds like such a rich journey. Anyone who wants to find out more about it can go to our homepage and find under the Learn part the Professional Development Center. The Heart Remembers starting in February. The course closes the signing in for on the February 1st, and the class starts on Fridays up from February 6th, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. February 6th is the first class.
Yes, and like one more little hint, if you can't join the live classes, you can also purchase the recordings after, but I'm sure you want to encourage people to be part of the live workshop, right?
Yeah, I think it's really nice when people can come live because it's not only about going through whatever it is that you're going through, but also about like being witnessed by other people's and also witnessing other people and being in community. And that brings some strength to the work, I believe. And you get so much more out of it when you come in person.
Connection.
But also,
Everyone.
as you like, you can watch the recording as well.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Stephanie, for providing your beautiful and your very experienced and like manifold, like there's so many layers to it, work to ISMETA and our platform, the Professional Development Center. Thank you, Gita, for joining us here, and we hope to see you there. You find all the links and all the information commented or in the links in the bio, and we're looking forward to be seeing you in the class.
Thank you so much, Florian. Look forward to seeing everybody. Thank you, Gita.
Thank you, Stephanie and Florian.
Bye bye.
Ciao.